Hey y'all, today's guest is Benja Schick, who is the co-founder of Oddly Pacific, which is an artist management company, but they really are more than an artist management company. He also is an A&R and generally a tastemaker, curator. We have a real fun conversation talking about the role of a manager and what an A&R looks for when they go looking for DIY artists. So if you are a DIY artist, probably worth listening to that part. Tapeclub.substack.com is where you can go to support the show. And yeah, that's it. Enjoy this conversation with Benja. We got Benja Schick, the co-founder of Oddly Pacific. He is an artist manager, also an A&R, and generally just a tastemaker, a curator. You'll see the many tastes that Benja brings to the table in the mixtape. But Benja, thank you for joining me today.
Happy to be here. Let's keep it tasty.
Yeah, let's keep it tasty. So tell me a bit about Oddly Pacific, because when I went on the website, at first I was like, oh, it's going to be just management. It seems like it's a little bit more than just management.
Yeah, it's like a multifaceted kind of brand that we've been building for the past, I guess, like 5 years now, but it's kind of evolved over the years, but started as just like artist development on a small scale and then kind of dove into honing in on just a few core artists and like really, really managing them. And that looks kind of like everything from day to day to like big picture to helping with brand identity and development. And then there's also like a music discovery side to it. So during COVID, I started like curating playlists kind of just for fun and making some TikToks and videos about them. And some did a little bit well and people started listening. So we just kind of make playlists and post about artists that we find that we're really stoked about, which kind of acts as a platform for artists under our roster umbrella, but also just stuff that maybe we're not working on or would never work on, but we're just so excited about. So it's me and my big brother kind of headed up together, and it's a good time.
Hell yeah. So I do have some questions about the artist development part of it that are going to come a little bit later, but tell me, like you said you and your brother started it. How did it fully start? Like, was it a conscious thing where you both sat down and were like, you know what? We want to be involved in the industry doing management, or was it sort of like you said, you were just doing things and it sort of came up?
Yeah, I went to college in a little school in Virginia small town, no creative industries at all, but tons of really creative people. So lots of like sick artists, producers, songwriters, and like lots of just like really great music, but no one really knew what to do with it. It was like, hey, I made this sick record, but I have, like 10 monthly listeners and I don't know what to do. So then I was frustrated because I was like, the art was so good, but there was no like bridge to get it to more people. I just always wanted more people to hear great music. So then I started teaching myself like how to run social media, how to run ads, how to book a show, book a tour, build a brand around an artist or a record, and just kind of became the local go-to guy of like, hey, you want to roll out a record, talk to Benja. You want to book shows, talk to Benja. And kind of just taught myself how to do all those things and realized that I just like love doing it and had a passion for it. So I think that kind of birthed my curiosity for like finding undiscovered music and then also finding out how to bridge the gap between the industry and the art and the fan and the art or however.
Yeah, so I find that when people get into that situation where there's a lot of folks around them making stuff, everyone's step usually is to make a label. They want to make a label. A lot of the times it's a tape label.
Yes.
I've seen that happen so much where it's like, we're going to make tapes.
Yes. It started the original dream was like of Oddly Pacific was like a label. Like I made this like huge ass poster board with like all my team and like what I was like, I'm gonna make a label. And then after like I like ran it by my brother and my partner and we just were like and then I talked to some people that had started labels and I was just like, I don't want to start a label. That like
yeah,
it's
so tell me a bit about what did they tell you that made you go, you know what, maybe moving into a management company is a better direction.
yeah, I think I think labels can be great. And I work for a label and the label I work for is my favorite label, luckily. But I think it's, they're becoming a little less important as like the independent artists are on the rise. Independent music makes up something like almost 60% of the industry now. Like it's really balancing out, which gets me really excited because I have lots of friends who are not affiliated with a label and are full-time music, and it's really cool to see more people doing that. So I think that reason, just kind of seeing the future of music and what will always be around is artists, live shows, great music. Also just, labels can be a bit of a one-stop shop. Like you go to booking for your touring, marketing for that, and then label is for your record and rolling it out, and kind of that's the only thing. I just am so excited by every element of artistry, like from the visuals and the music videos to how the socials are rolling it out and the brand building and the world building and touring. Like all my artists I work with are very like live show tour heavy. Like I want to be involved in as many things as I can where I'm needed. And so I think the idea of a label was like, this is cool, but I want to support artists holistically, rather than like just with the record.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then, yeah, the management is all hands on deck at all times. What I've heard from artists and other folks is like your manager is usually like your biggest fan, is what I've heard. I don't know. Would you agree with
Hopefully,
that?
ideally, I think that's how it should be. And also, I heard another a manager buddy say it like this, and I resonated with it. It's kind of like a marriage. It's kind of like you're married to each other, where like you're involved in like all these like really deep feelings coming up in like conversations, and it's like can be kind of like tender at times, and also just really exciting. So it's a weird it can be a weird dynamic. And I know some managers who are really uninvolved, and it's I feel like it's one of the jobs in the industry that there's no description for, and every manager I meet has different roles or does different things, which is cool, but also can be hard because a lot of times I could be like, am I doing a good job? Am I doing too much? Am I not doing enough? It's like continually evolving and like learning how to do it.
Yeah, so that is a great segue into my next question, which is what are some of your jobs and some of your tasks, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever, as an artist manager?
Anytime I start working with the artist, it's the same question that's just where are the gaps? What do you need help with? And I see it as my job to try to fill every hole that is needed. So it looks different artist to artist, but it's anything and everything from some of the artists I'm helping run social, like actually run the accounts for their socials. I am not because they love doing it. They like being involved in that. So it's kind of and some of my artists have booking agents that handle all their booking. Other artists I'm booking like full tours for, and I'm the booking agent because we don't have one yet, or there's not a need for one. And then I try to just check in weekly with all the artists to just make sure the records are coming out. But I'm also like uploading stuff to distribution. I'm middleman between booking, label, anything, taking meetings for them, answering emails, taking calls. So it's kind of anything and everything. And then I like to think of myself as a proactive manager and not so much a reactive manager where I'm actively looking for the next thing and more opportunities rather than, oh shit, like you went viral, now let's capitalize on it. It's like, no, even if you're not going viral, what are things we can be doing to keep the ball rolling, milking the last record or like working on the next record or leaning into the live thing or hunkering down and writing. Like I think I'm always kind of like looking 5 years ahead and then making steps to get to a certain point. But I also tell artists that I work with creatively, I'm not involved. Like, I mean, I'm a producer, I'm a drummer, I come from a creative background, but I wouldn't work with someone unless I wasn't already stoked on the music they were making and the visuals they're rolling out. So if they want me to give mixed feedback, I will if it's asked, but unsolicited, like I don't have no. I only want to work with artists that I am like no notes. We just need to figure out how to get it to a million more people.
Yeah, that seems like a healthy relationship and a good place to draw that line. It's funny the way that you talk about what a manager is in the music world. It kind of reminds me of like in the film world what a producer is. When people go, "What's a producer? How do I become a producer?" You're like, a producer is just someone that gets shit done. Like whenever something
Yeah,
needs to happen, you figure out how to make it happen. It can be as small as making sure the green room is stocked with like the right type of cold brew, or like it can
yeah.
be as big as like making sure this set, like this venue or this location is booked. Like Sometimes you have location people to do it if you're on a big enough production, but generally, like the producer is the all-encompassing kind of get it done type
Yeah,
position.
like filling in the gaps. And I like what you said about like ideally the manager is the biggest fan of the music. Um, because I mean that I don't know, I tell a lot of artists who are looking for management, like 10 out of 10 times I would rather have the manager who's like your friend who's absolutely stoked and willing to learn and do whatever than the manager on the really big team who has an A-list artist but you can't get their attention and you can't ever get a text back, like because I know friends with huge, conventionally successful managers, but they've got other stuff to work on. They're not stoked enough to, but that's how I started out. Was I was the friend who was just like willing to learn, but I
Yeah.
took it
So
really
tell me
seriously.
about that. Who was that with?
I mean, Oceanic, like we were friends first. We all went to college together, and I used to go to all their local shows and like 5 people in tiny venues, and I just like loved their music. I was just a huge fan. And just, homies, we would hang out all the time. They were good friends with my big brother. And then it wasn't until like years into our friendship that we actually started working together because they had a need and I was like, well, I'm already doing this for a few other artists. And then we started and I think it was the perfect balance of like they were willing to take me seriously in a business capacity and they knew that I was like, hey, I don't want to be your friend manager. Like I want to do this as my career. And it just worked out really well and it's worked well ever since. I think we've been working together for a little over 2 years now, maybe coming up on 3 years. But I mean, most of my clients I work with, we end up becoming friends anyways. Just, I don't know. It's a good
Yeah, that
vibe.
makes sense. I mean, it's great. It's true, and I've heard it so many times that there really is no like pathway that's one size fits all. It's sort of like a lot of things are in motion at all times, and whatever you know works and whatever comes together for your journey is like kind of where it'll take you. So
Yeah.
with Oddly Pacific, right? It's you and who else is involved in it?
My brother Reed on like the business side, my brother Reed, he's like helps with like day-to-day stuff as a manager, but also creative direction. He's an incredible photographer, videographer, marketing guru, social media guy. So he kind of helps with a lot of the marketing things and the visuals and creative aesthetic. And then I'm doing a lot of day-to-day with the artists and label meetings and publishing. And more kind of in the weeds of like booking and rolling out records. And then we also have our buddy Ryland, who lives in California in Santa Barbara. And he kind of helps with some of the overall Oddly Pacific brand development and like the visual aesthetic of the Oddly Pacific brand and helping curate the playlists. All three of us curate all the playlists together because we all have very different music taste and it's fun. Like every Friday we all text and send each other songs and throughout the week we're just sending each other like, holy shit, have you heard this artist? Like this is cool. So I feel like that keeps all of our like love for music alive while working in it because I think it's easy working in it to be like, I don't listen to music anymore. It's work now. I don't love it. But we just want to keep our like stoked excitement and like love for it alive as long as we can.
Yeah, and then that probably goes hand in hand with, working with acts who you are just like super passionate about.
Yeah.
One thing before, because I imagine that starts to get into the A&R conversation, which I want to have, but before we do that, what sort of advice would you give to somebody who wants to get into artist management?
You don't really have to wait for anything. Like if you want to do this is the job that you can just start doing on your own. Like A&R, it's like, you got to have a label you're working for to do it. Publishing, you got to have a publishing company. Booking as well, you could start doing it. I think booking and management are the roles where it's like, you don't need to do it for a company. You can just like start developing artists yourself. Find an artist that you're like absolutely stoked on. Cause I think that's the most crucial thing is like, I mean, lots of, not in a way that's like, oh, tooting my own horn. But like I've had a lot of artists over the years ask me to manage them. And I tell a lot of them, what you're doing is awesome, but you don't want me managing you unless I'm absolutely stoked. Like I need to be so stoked. And what you're doing is awesome for someone else, maybe just not for me. But I don't know. If you want to get into management, just like start doing it. Find an artist you're excited about, see what they need. And then if you can fill some of those gaps or teach yourself. We're in the indie YouTube, you can learn anything for anywhere world. Like you can figure it out. And I don't know. Also, if you're getting into management, boundaries are smart because it's also the job where like you're getting a midnight text and a 2 a.m. text. So figure out a good, healthy balance with your phone and boundaries, which I am still continually learning. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that goes beyond even the music industry. I feel like everyone
Yes.
is trying to learn those boundaries. Out of curiosity, like when someone, if someone was to just try to start their own thing or jump in, how does compensation work for a manager? Because our artists already don't make any money,
Yeah.
especially at those small levels. I imagine a manager who's just starting out is also at that small level. What should someone who's getting into management do in terms of compensation? I mean, I know that's a
Mhm.
big question and it varies from person to person, but any insight on that?
Yeah, I'm like still learning all of it, and it varies from company to company for sure. But I feel like a lot of managers, there's kind of this like unspoken dating phase where like 6 months to a year you might work with an artist. Like most of my artists, the first year we were working together, I didn't touch any money. It was like let's just work together in good faith and see if it works. And at any point, either of us can walk, and no harm, no foul. And there's this like dating, see if it works. And then, after year one, maybe, or whenever it just feels good, it's like, let's enter into contract or just do a good faith system. But it's typically a percentage of total artist income. So anywhere from 5 to 10 to like, I've heard 20 at most, maybe some take more. I don't know. That is kind of crazy to me. But total artist income, which could include streaming, record sales, touring, profits, merch, publishing. My deals are like a little more creative because I can afford to because I have a full time job with this A&R company, and this is management is still my passion project. So I like to get a little more creative. Like some management companies don't touch merch. Like I don't touch merch because I'm like you guys are fulfilling that yourselves, and that's how you guys are breaking even or anything on tour. So like I don't want to touch that. And some of my artists who don't have booking, it's like I'm actually not taking any money from their like shows until we get booking agents to like give myself an incentive to get them to another level and then take a cut. So it varies even yeah, just from artist to artist and manager to manager.
Yeah, that makes sense. You also mentioned, your A&R role. So for the people who aren't familiar with what A&R is, what it does, what to tell the people what's A&R, what is their role?
It stands for artists and repertoire, but some would say it stands for airports and restaurants, or always running around. It is your work. A&Rs work for record labels, and they're responsible for finding new artists or artists that have been around the block, and then signing them to the label, and then helping develop the record. Ideally, I think over the years, it's gotten a little less involved on the record side just because you can do so much on your own as an artist. So I'm talking to artists from all stages. They might have an album that's just done and mastered that they want to put out, or they might have a couple demos and they still need to write it. And then, I'm just kind of involved where I need to be. If that means helping find the producer, helping find out who's going to mix it, and then kind of connecting artists with our marketing team at the label and figuring out how to best roll out the record, follow the best practices, algorithms, and just help the record do as well as it possibly can. And you're kind of the translator between the artist and their manager and your company, the label, and kind of the middleman between everything. You're kind of responsible for a lot if it goes really well or if it doesn't go well. But I just, I just try to get the best deals as possible for the artist and also something that makes sense for the company. And I do believe that there are great companies out there. I work for one of them that are doing that in a healthy way. But I also think we're in a time where there's a lot of not great labels and horror stories coming out from the last 50 years, and the industry's changing, I think, for the better. But yeah, I'm the signing guy, the sign off on the record, maybe in the studio sometimes, taking a lot of meetings though.
So that makes me think. any independent DIY artists who are looking for a label, they're looking to connect with A&R people. So where do you go to find stuff? How do you usually discover smaller artists, and any tips you would give those smaller artists to be more attractive to an A&R, or to how to show up like in their world?
Yeah, to be honest, it's everything you'd think. Like I'm on Spotify, my Discover Weekly, I find so much cool shit. I go to a lot of shows. I mean I'm in Nashville, so it's like there's a lot of shows happening and I try to just go to a lot and I always watch the opening artists. And then I hate to say this, but I am on social media a lot. I'm chronically doom scrolling on TikTok and Reels. And if I see something, I mean, I think artists a lot of time forget about the visuals. It's like, yes, the record needs to be incredible to catch my ear. It needs to just be awesome. I don't, I'm the first thing I'm not looking at is monthly listeners or how many followers you have on TikTok. I'm going to hear the song or see the visual first. And something about visuals is like people see your album cover nowadays before they listen to your song. They see the reel before the song starts playing. That's just like we're in a very visual day and age, which you can do with that what you will, but that's just the truth. So like if I see something that visually I'm just like, oh my God, this looks so cool. This guy's like in a field with a guitar and there's flowers and he has a cool hat on, something weird. I'm like, oh, I'm hooked. Now I'm listening to the song. The song's good, sick. Now I'm following and now I'm DMing you and like I want to get to know you and hear about what you're up to. So I think caring about your visuals as much as you care about your music is really important. Um,
I was
yeah,
going to say that kind of is interesting to hear, because Oceanic, who past guests of the show, and you manage them, they are big on visuals. I mean, that is such a huge part of their branding, so to speak. It makes sense. It checks out. And you know what? It is that extra thing, that sauce that like makes them feel bigger, makes them feel more pro. Like when you're seeing it, you're like, oh shit, like these guys must be like raking in the dough or whatever.
totally.
Yeah, it's wild. And you know, I hopefully we can have their creative director on at some point in
Yes.
the show. We'll see. But yeah, I mean that is all very insightful stuff, and I think it's really valuable for independent artists to hear that perspective, because I think a lot of artists don't realize that it's fair that they fall into this pitfall of like, I made a song, maybe people are going to listen to it, but it's
Yeah.
like, no, dude, you have to do the work to like get people to listen to it.
Yeah. And I'm not a TikTok A&R. I'm not one of those, like, I don't ask any of my artists to make TikToks. Well, sometimes I do. But like, I'm not like, let's just chase a viral TikTok moment and put all of our eggs in that basket. I'm like, I don't give a shit about TikTok. There's just like so many, I don't know, there's so many other ways. I think there's a lot of ways to get passive fans, but I want, as a manager and as an A&R, to find the like lifelong fans who are going to buy the vinyl, go to every show for 10 years. And I think the way you find those people is by making great music, great visuals, and having a good team and playing a badass live show, because Spotify could go away in 10 years. Streaming's still a really new thing. TikTok could go away. There's so many come and goes. I do think the thing that has been around the longest and will stay the longest is live music. So if you don't want to do shows, you should maybe think about it, and like also putting that effort into your live show. You could stand on stage and just play the songs, or you can try to make it an experience for the audience, and that is what something I think makes lifelong fans.
I agree with you 100%. And I will again use a anecdote from my life. Again, Oceanic, right? To be completely transparent, it's not like the kind of music I listen to. It just isn't.
Yeah.
Like I listen to shit like, I don't know, like David Berman and like weird like
Yeah.
80s new wave shit, and like just a bunch of like, I just listen to weird like, not Oceanic really, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then the first time I saw them that's exactly it. I saw them. I went to the show and I was like, these guys are incredible. Like I remember after they, I'm even getting goosebumps talking about it. But when they were done, I was like, "Have you guys tried to get a song in FIFA? Because you should have a song in FIFA. Like you guys make FIFA core
Whoa.
music. It's so fucking sick."
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. There's a little tip.
That's
If
a
you reach
great
out to the
idea.
hit up EA or I guess EA are now owned by Saudi Arabia, so don't hit them up. I have no idea. But let's take a quick break, and when we get back from this break, we are going to get into your mixtape. We're back with everyone's favorite segment, the mixtape. So Benja,
Woo.
your mixtape that you sent over is very eclectic. You put it that way. You said eclectic. I couldn't think of it before. I was like, you got a lot of bases covered, my man. And you're like, the word is eclectic. So
Yeah.
anything you want to say about the mixtape before we get into it? Kind of maybe what you themed it around or what was going through your head.
Yeah, the through line, I guess the theme is it's also a little chaotic. It's three songs that I am currently like really, really stoked on, that I've like found recently. And then three songs that are like I would consider my all-time favorite song, like or perfect songs. They're on my all-time favorites playlist, which are songs that I'm like, I will always come back to the song and it's perfect. So there's three new tracks that I'm stoked on, and then three of my perfect all-time faves.
Amazing. So your mixtape really follows the cassette style. You have an A side and a B side. It works perfectly.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
You did it. Okay. So the first one is a song called "Hang on the Wall, What You Kill," and the artist is Emory. So tell me a bit about this tune and this artist.
Yeah, I found Emery's music this year, and they're just like rolling out some of the craziest sounding shit. It's like indie folk mixed with electronic hyper pop. It's kind of strange, and it's just like addictive listening to it. It feels like it scratches my brain. So I mean that song came out Friday, and I just can't stop listening to it. And I think they're doing a record later this year, and I'm just unbelievably excited. But yeah, I just can't stop listening to it.
It's always nice to hear like a refreshing take on a genre or a combination of like sounds and instruments or whatever that is just brand new or new to you at least because at a certain point it's like all right I can only do so much like guitars or like so much
Yes.
electronic shit but to combine stuff is really cool. Recently for me the thing that's been on my mind is harp stuff with harps in it. I don't know why but harps have been like on my brain.
Whoa. Where are the harps? I haven't heard a harp. My friend Abby just released a harp version of a song, and that's the first harp I've heard on a record in a long time.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, we need more harps. So
Harp core.
Emory should also be putting some harps on the new shit. If you're
Emory,
hearing this, Emory,
Emory, a harp moment could slay. Yeah, and also I think the reason why I love their music is like I think a lot of music is influenced or inspired by an artist, and sometimes you can tell more than others. And I think when I listen to those, like that song and the records, I'm like, I don't, I this doesn't sound like anything I can really compare it to anything, which is always a good feeling for me personally.
yeah, that is always really cool. Let's listen to a little bit of it. Here is "Hang on the Wall, What You Kill" by Emory.
Hang on the wall, what you kill. Hang on the wall, what you kill. Hang on the wall, what you kill.
Next up, the artist is WHATMORE, one word, all caps, and the song is "East Side with My Dogs," but the with is a W. So, what do you think about this? Who are WHATMORE? Who is WHATMORE? Tell me about the artist. Tell me about the song. What made you put it on here?
Yeah, I found them like this month, very recently, and they're a boy band group, but it's like alternative hip hop R&B. It's insane, and it's all these different kind of dudes who sing differently and sound differently on the record. And what got me with them is the visuals. I was on Reels just like doom scrolling, and it was like a video of them just like all hanging out and singing, and it's like very urban feeling. It's kind of like
Brockhampton was what I get.
it's very Brockhampton-y. And Brockhampton broke up, and we need a new Brockhampton. I decided, and I want it to be these guys. That's my favorite song by them so far, but they're also doing a record soon, and I'm so excited for it because I just love some hype music. I don't know. Their visuals and videos just make me feel like, oh, I want to hang out with you guys. This is fun.
I can see why the visuals appeal to you. They're very cool. They're very like early 2000s pilled type stuff. And it's funny.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through their Instagram here. There's a clip from the New York Times that says they're one of the fall's most anticipated albums. So
I'm
pretty
anticipating
good.
it. It's anticipated.
Let's listen to a little bit of it. Here is Eastside with My Dogs by WHATMORE. Next up, the last one of your current favorites, I believe, is Yueku with the song Say It Twice. So tell me a bit about Yueku.
Yueku is sick. Like he just put out an EP. He's making like really good pop records. But it's also like R&B infused. But I saw him live at a show like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was just like the band was all like sitting, and it was really vibey. But he was like on keys, and he's just doing like I don't know. I'm in Nashville, and there's a lot of indie rock and a lot of indie folk. So when someone is just like unashamedly making badass pop music, and especially like a dude, and he's just singing like like Bieber, Michael Jackson, Timberlake. I was like, hell yeah! Like, I don't know. I really love this song's my favorite, and I just really love this EP. And I think he's just like he's doing it different for just like being in Nashville, especially. And the writing is just beautiful. The lyrics are great, and the production is sick. It's I love it.
I was going to say another artist who, just from my brief glance through what they're doing, they also care about their visual ideas and their imagery that they put along with their work, whether that's like their profile picture or whatever, or the album art or anything. It seems like they visually have a solid thing they're going for.
Totally, yeah, and yeah, he's also a buddy and a great dude. But I'm like mostly just a fan. I think the record's like so good.
Let's listen to a little bit of it. Here is Yueku with Say It Twice. Next up, we've got Rosie Carney with a song called Chihiro. So tell me about this one.
Oh, this song is devastating. It's so beautiful, and it just like this is one of my perfect songs. I've been a Rosie Carney fan for a very long time. Also, she's been like dormant for the last couple of years, and she's putting out her first single this Friday, and I'm so excited. She's probably one of my favorite artists. She's based in Europe. I don't know where. Maybe I don't know. She did something with the Paper Kites a long time ago, which is how I found her. But this song, it's from her last record, and it just feels really, I don't know, it puts me in like a trance. It makes me feel like the feeling of when you're waking up really early in the morning and the sun is rising and you feel like a little gross and sticky, but also like kind of magical. And before you had your coffee and you're kind of sad and emo, but it's so beautiful. Her voice is otherworldly, and I'm obsessed with it.
I feel like that should be the pull quote for some of her press materials. Rosie Carney makes you feel like you're waking up and kind of sticky, but still feeling good.
Literally.
Let's listen to a little bit of it. Here is Chihiro by Rosie Carney.
I am faded.
Next up is the one song that I actually knew
Yeah.
for my basic ass music taste. The song is All I Need, and it's by Radiohead. Obviously a classic, but tell me what made you pick this one out of Radiohead's many tunes.
Just like it's been on my brain recently, and also for the last 5 years. It just like it is. It's a perfect song. It feels so good. I just recently found like a live video of them playing it, and I was like, oh my God. I just like I don't know how you make a song like this. Like I even as a former creative, I never would guess where do you start? How do you make a song that feels this like captivating and kind of dark and curious and like cool, but like devastating? And the sounds, there's so many sounds that are interesting that like tickle my brain. And
Yeah, I personally would like to know what synthesizers and stuff they used on this, because this album in particular, in Rainbows, is like, it's got a really cohesive, cool sound, and it's the one that I think is probably the best entry point for
yeah,
Radiohead. I will say totally transparently, I didn't like Radiohead. I was actually vocally one of those people who was like, they're overrated. Radiohead's overrated. And then my friend sat me down and was like, just listen to In Rainbows. And we listened to In Rainbows in
yes,
its entirety. And I was like, this shit's really fucking good.
dude. I actually am so glad you said that because I was the same. And this is one of my biggest character flaw moments in my life. ACL 2017 with my buddy. We're seeing all the artists. It's a great time. Radiohead's headlining, and we both were like, "Fuck that!" Like, we're, we're gonna go see. We're gonna go see instead Major Lazer, which is like electronic.
I
We didn't even like Major Lazer. We were like, we want to go dance. Like Radiohead makes dad rock, bro.
I was gonna say, if you're looking to go, like, they're different vibes, right? Like, if your goal was to go dance and do Molly and shit, then go to Major Lazer. But if your goal is to like not do that, then go to Radiohead.
I literally, and I had only ever heard Creep, so I just wrote it off, which is I now love, but I was like, it's dad rock, whatever. And now, like years later, I think about that, and I'm like, oh my God, that was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I missed it, and that is one of my biggest regrets ever.
Yeah, well, you know what? I would regret it too if I were you. Sorry, I can't make you feel better about it. Let's listen to a little bit of it. Here's All I Need by Radiohead. And then finally, closing it all out, you picked a song called Guilty Conscience by an artist called 070 Shake. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, 070070.
Okay, 070 Shake. So yeah, see, look, this whole show is me like, not even this episode, this entire show is always me like mispronouncing names and trying to learn about new bands or bands that are new to me. And this is one of them. But when I looked at 070 Shake on Spotify, it's like 11 million monthly listeners or something like that. I was like, all right, so that's just a blind spot for
like,
me.
where did this come from? Yeah, I love when I find an artist and I'm like, never heard of this. And then there's like 10 million monthlies. I'm like, what the hell? How many artists are this huge that I don't know about?
So tell me about how you first found 070 Shake and why did you put this song as the closer here?
I think my buddy, who's an artist called Poster Boy, we were making a record and this was one of his reference artists sonically, and he was like, you gotta listen to this. And it was this live video of them performing one of their other songs, and it just was, they looked so cool, the song sounded so cool, and I was like, oh my God. And then I found this song and I was like, it's probably one of their biggest songs, but I just think it's like a perfect song. It's my song of the summer. It's a freaking banger, and the reason why I love it so much is because the first chorus is a double chorus, so it hits hard. The 808s come in. It's a massive pop song. And then there's a double chorus and it gets even bigger. And you're like, oh my God, we're like 30 seconds in. And I'm like, this is the biggest. It feels so big. And lots of ear candy, really cool production. But the vocal melody is just like this, like, it's just like, it gets me stoked.
Yeah,
I love
so that's interesting that they get to it so quick and are able to make it so big so quick, because there's no right way to do anything, but
Totally.
it just kind of goes against like what you think a song would be like. You're like, tease the first chorus, but don't get there yet, and then the second chorus really get there. And
Yes.
no, that's not how they do it.
Just show all the cards, and I'm here for it. I'm like, I'm hooked. I'm in.
All right, well, let's listen to a little bit of it. Here is Guilty Conscience by 070 Shake. And so there you go. That is your playlist. What did you think? Anything you maybe would have done differently if you had to do? Were there some that were like close to making it on and didn't make it on? Or generally, were you happy with how you did out there today?
I'm pretty happy. This feels like a full like taste of my palette, where it's like I love rock and roll, I love pop, I love hip hop, weird shit. It's it feels like a nice compilation of Benja's brain.
For this moment in time, at least. Maybe.
Yeah, it'll
Who
change
knows?
in a year.
I was going to say 6 months from now, it could be something totally different.
Yeah.
Well, Benja, I loved it. I got to discover a bunch of new stuff, so it was great. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to play a game, and then we will get the hell out of here. So for today's game, we are going to repurpose a segment that we do in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter, tapeclub.substack.com. It's free to subscribe, and every newsletter, right at the end of it, we have I pretty much send these questionnaires out to artists, and I'm like, here are 5 options of little questionnaires you can do. Because as a kid, when I was reading magazines, my first thing I always did was flip right to the back page, because that's where they usually have some fun shit, you know?
Yeah.
So one of those segments that we do in the newsletter is called Firsts and Lasts. The way this works is I'm going to give you a category, and then you tell me the first thing you ever did of that, and then the last thing. So for example, here's how we'll start. What is the first album or CD, cassette, whatever that you bought? And then what's the last one you bought? And you can define it however. If you want it to be a digital thing, that's fine too. It's however you want to define it.
Physical. I feel like that's more interesting. Like, I mean, my first CD I probably ever bought was Sign No More by Mumford and Sons. I used to be a big folk guy. I still love folk. But Mumford's, I think that's their first record. And I was probably like 11 or 12. And I was like at the store probably with my mom, and I was like, I want to buy this. And the last one I bought, I probably was a long time ago, because I haven't bought a CD in a long ass time. It was probably of Monsters and Men's first record, which also was probably in like 2014. So my CD buying days, 3 years gap, and then streaming was out. And
I also am guilty of that, falling prey to the demon Spotify. That is what I
for
do.
sure. And I'm still an album guy, but like my current car doesn't have like a CD player. And like, to be honest, I don't have a record player at home, which I need to get one, because I do have vinyls. I just like don't have something to play them on.
I personally don't blame anybody for not doing physical media. Everyone who does it, that's awesome. I'm glad that gets you going. And the people who don't,
For
I
sure.
totally get it too. It's a lot of work. It's a lot to maintain. And if it's not like your passion, why add that extra step, right?
Yeah, it could be a rabbit hole.
Next category is movies. First movie you're obsessed with, and the latest movie you're obsessed with.
Oh my gosh. First movie, I'm cheating by pulling out my letterbox for the latest one. But first movie I'm obsessed with, Treasure Planet. That's like my when I was a kid. And but stick to this day, like I'm obsessed. It's beautiful.
Yeah, Treasure Planet is quite a throwback. That's a really great answer.
Yeah, it's just like a banger soundtrack, banger themes.
It's like a deep cut in a way too, because it's not like your typical kind of, like when you think of animated films or kids movies or whatever, it's not your typical one that you think of. It gives me like Iron Giant vibes. That was like another throwback that time.
Yes.
And what is the last movie that you've been obsessed with?
The last highest rating on my letterbox in the last month was for this movie called Promising Young Woman. It's like kind of more of a drama thriller, a little cheeky, but there's some heavy parts, but it was awesome. It was like, I loved the plot and the themes, and the casting was incredible. I loved it.
Okay, moving on to the next category. First artist you saw in concert and last artist you saw in concert.
The first artist I technically saw in concert, but I don't remember because I was like a child, was Dave Matthews. My parents took me and my brothers when we were kids all to a Dave Matthews concert. I feel like I remember, but I don't know if it's one of those memories I made up. The first concert I like remember was U2 360 tour at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and that was the craziest thing I'll probably ever see.
So who was the last artist that you saw in concert?
About a week ago, I saw the Marias at Ascend Amphitheater in Nashville, and that was just they're one of my favorite bands right now, and they've just gotten really big over the last year, and it was incredible. It was a
I was
great
going to
show.
say a meteoric ascent for the Marias because I feel like they had been doing their thing for a minute and suddenly,
Yeah,
like overnight, it was just like, whoa, now everyone knows them. Like, and
totally. It was
they're
like,
doing like YouTube ads or Google ads or something. They're doing some ad
yeah,
for some like giant company where I was like, wait, what? Like the Marias are doing
yes.
ads?
I feel like it was like last year they like one of the songs blew up on TikTok and then they like had that opening slot for Billie Eilish, which I just think was the perfect demographic for them to get in front of. And then it just like I mean, my wife surprised me with the tickets for my birthday and she said she got in line for pre-sale and there was 10,000 people in the lineup. I was like, why didn't they do Bridgestone Arena? Like if there was 10,000 people trying to get tickets. It's crazy,
Maybe next time, right? That'll be the next one.
honestly.
The next category here is about travel. First time you traveled and last time you traveled. You can define that however you want. It's very vague, so however you want to define it.
I mean, I grew up traveling always to the south to all my extended family, and so probably first time traveling was probably to like Tennessee. I grew up in St. Louis, so probably to Tennessee or Georgia. First time I traveled out of the country was to Costa Rica for my uncle's wedding, and I was like super young. I was a ring bearer in the wedding. Last time I traveled, dang, what was the last time I traveled? I went to Knoxville to see my big bro. Um, and I went to Charlotte before that to see one of the Oceanic shows for their hometown headline. Yeah, I haven't traveled a ton first half of this year.
First artist you were a super fan of and last artist you were a super fan of. So again, define that how you will, you know.
First artist I was a super fan of is got to be U2. I mean, I just like the super fan is in like every record. I've seen him live twice, and still just like they rooted so much of my taste and what I love. Last artist, oh my gosh, I want to say all the artists I'm managing, to be
I was going to say
honest.
this is kind of like a tough question to close on because you gotta say, let's say you can't pick anyone who's related to you.
All right, all right. Honestly, probably that artist Emory that was on the playlist. It's like I think I would consider myself a super fan. I hope they tour and come to Nashville soon because I will be at a show. I will be buying the record and streaming the hell out of it. But also the Marias. I think right now I was already a super fan, and then that show the other week like reignited. I was like, they are the so awesome and doing something really cool. So
It's
yeah.
so funny to me because, you know, to bring it all full circle, earlier in our conversation, you said that live performance is so important to you and it means a lot. And then when I asked first artist you saw in concert, last artist you saw in concert, you said you two and then the Marias. And then I said, well, what about a super fan? You two and the Marias. So
Oh, I didn't even.
yeah, you're speaking your truth.
I didn't even
Your
realize that.
concert going habits are tied into your fandom. It's reality,
Yes.
you know.
I go to so many shows. I love shows all the time.
Yeah, see, I just listen to albums. I don't really go out to shows. I
It's a
don't.
good vibe.
So near it's like a not. I don't want to be around the crowd and shit. I just would rather just put on headphones or listen to it through my speakers.
It
It's my
is it's a lot of standing. I like when I saw the 1975 a few years ago, I got that was the last concert that I got there like 7 hours early. I was barricade and I was there and I was like next to all these, just all like teenagers. And I was like, oh shit, maybe one, maybe I'm a little too old for this now. Two, my back hurts and my feet hurt. I would rather be the guy in the back with a gin and tonic sipping, sitting out against the wall. So that's my new vibe.
I was thinking, here, I'll let you in on something. I have this master plan. I was talking to a friend. I was like,
Whoa.
if you ever open a venue, or if anyone I know ever opens a venue, I'm going to say, you got to pipe the board out to the patio or smoking area or something, put a couple speakers, and charge $5 for patio only. So if you just want to listen to the show, you don't have to pay the $15 to get in the door. Pay $5 for patio only, and you can listen to the show and talk with your friends, drink some beers.
Oh, and maybe there's a little monitor screen out there showing a little camera if you want.
Yeah, if you want to go over and take a peek, you can. But like, yeah, just it's a different tier, you know, because everyone says shows are so expensive now. I don't want to pay $40 just to go to a show. Don't pay $10, go chill on the patio, buy a bunch of beers all night long.
Which wouldn't divert from who's going to the actual show. You'd actually just get more business. You'd actually just like, it would expand who could, you're going to have this whole walk-up crowd who just wants to get a beer, smoke, you know, listen to the music. And then you'll have the fans who are going to the show like normal, and they could go out.
It's bulletproof. Look,
it's a big idea.
I'm going to cut this out of the podcast. No, I'm just joking. Benja, tell the people where they can find you, what you've got coming up. Keep in mind, I think this will release some point in late October, I think.
Great. You can, I mean, my personal account is my name, Benja Schick, like the razor, but also follow Oddly Pacific. That's where we're announcing everything for all of our artists, from tours to new records. New playlists are coming out there. We're about to start doing some more in-person events, which are TBD, but just like, follow that Instagram, check out the website, the TikTok, and if you like music and want to hear new music and the cool shit we're finding, that's the place to do it. And keep in touch with the artists there. That's probably the best go-to place.
Awesome. And then listeners, viewers, as always, tapeclub.substack.com is the place to go. If you sign up for free, you'll get the feed of this podcast. You'll get a newsletter. You'll get a bunch of random shit. If you sign up for the paid, which is $5 a month, you'll get a shipment of little cassette tapes that we make. They're like little compilation tapes. And then on top of that, you get another feed of the full mixtape from all these shows in your podcast feed. And we'll also get in that same feed a weekly radio show that's 90 minutes of music. So it's a cool alternative to the algorithm, I guess. I looked this up. This is going to come out October 30th. So last quick rapid fire question. You got to give me a quick answer before we go. What would you dress up for Halloween if you were dressing up?
Honestly, my go-to is Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera. It's a good one. You don't even have to buy the full mask. It's just a half mask, half price.
And a cape and a mask, easy.
For me, I dress up as a spider. Put some pool noodles across my back and waddle through a door. All right. We're going to get the hell out of here. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace. Thanks.
The J-Card podcast is a fully independent production. It is made possible by listeners and viewers just like you. So if you want to support us, tapeclub.substack.com is the place to go.